okay? So we have this secret society inside the board, not even the full board, sometimes it would appear, inside Scottish Police Authority, deciding on transparency of governance, and the whole thing is done, without public knowledge, without people out there being able to hold this board to account, because this is all done deliberately behind closed doors, to undermine the very principles of transparency and accountability that the whole purpose of the review the Cabinet Secretary set up was designed to address. How is that excusable or defensible?
The discussions itself were actually on the detail of how we were going to implement the recommendations in the governance review.
So public interest?
I think it was at quite a detailed level. It didn't change the recommendations from the review itself. So those were what we actually proceeded to implement. So I'm not sure that it was necessary to discuss.
Well, if we look at the implementation, see the recommendations made by Derek Penman in his letter of the 9th of December. How many of those recommendations have been implemented?
Well, we've taken into account what he said and other stakeholders.
That's not what I asked. I said how many have been implemented.
They haven't yet been implemented.
They haven't been implemented?
No.
So when are they going to be implemented?
They're going to be taking account of the review of the governance arrangements that we scheduled for June this year to see how the existing arrangements were working, the ones that we put through in December, and we will take his account and his views as a central part of that discussion.
So this is the Chief Inspector who's just about, I believe, or may already have started now, his inspection of your governance arrangements. Yeah?
He's not started yet, no.
No, but he's due to start. Is that right?
Later in the year, yes.
Right. And you've had the First Minister, the Auditor General and the Chief Inspector tell you that the governance arrangements and certain aspects of the recommendations they do not find acceptable and need to be amended, and you're not going to consider those in effect at least until June this year.
I've had continuing discussions with the Chief Inspector, and we've agreed when he should schedule the work, what he should do in terms of the review that he says that he wants to conduct. And I think that is his view is that he would like to see our own review of the governance arrangements, taking into account all the evidence and all the views of stakeholders, being revised, being changed in the summer before he conducts that inspection.
So how do the board members know that when they don't have this letter of the 9th of December? Is the decisions all being made by you personally, Mr Flanagan?
No, I discuss these openly with the board members on a regular basis.
But the letter couldn't have been discussed openly because they never got the letter.
The contents of it were known to them and they were informed of it.
The contents were not known. They never got the letter. Did you tell them there was a letter?
Yes, and it was actually...
And no non-executive member asked for a copy of it?
No.
No board member has asked... Have you told them there was a letter? Did you tell them that at the board meeting in December?
I don't recall if
but
I said it in December.
You know, the memory, there must be something wrong with memory around the SPA. Everybody seems to have a bad memory. So the fact of life is they didn't know about the existence of the letter that would appear at the board meeting in December, and even when they've been told, no non-executive member has asked for a copy of it. Is that right?
It was referenced in the Audit Scotland.
No, but
the existence of the letter was referenced in the Audit Scotland.
Nobody
report.
asked for a copy of it?
No.
That tells you a lot about the board of the SPA. Convener, I think it's quite obvious this is a shambles.